please join me now in welcoming back the writer and director, Joseph Cedar. Thank you.
After my previous film, I was working on something that collapsed, and I was depressed. I didn't think I would find another project that would fuel my interest for a few years. And I was crossing Rabin Square in Tel Aviv, and my phone rang. And on the other end of the line was the cultural attaché of the Italian embassy in Israel. And she called to congratulate me for winning Italian State Award for the 60th anniversary of Israel. And I said, wow, thank you. And then I asked her who else was receiving the award. And then she named a list of people that were really unbelievable, the Nobel Prize winners, and they were all much more accomplished and serious and older, and with real people who really deserve that. So I said to her, I think you might have meant to call my father, who's a scientist. And she didn't say no. She said, can you hold for 1 minute? And that's when this film was born. I hope unusual isn't necessarily bad, but
No.
I stand behind this choice because it is a choice. I think a few years ago, I came to this conclusion about what a score does in a film, because it's something I was thinking about, and this is the conclusion that I came to. Either there's no score, because every score has the danger of feeling too intervening. It's the filmmaker telling the audience what's really happening. And I think my natural tendency would be, let's not interfere. And so that's one option. And I thought that's the direction that I was moving in. The other option is, if you're going to use a score, then the score has to have a statement, and you can't hide it or apologize for it. It should be in the front of the story. And I felt that this movie needed music, and we went to the extreme of what music does in a film. And it's a score that elevates some of the scenes without apologizing. It's not a sentimental score. There's something about it's not harmonious. There's a screech to it that I think represents a clash between two things that are happening there. So a need to be harmonious and something that just wants a one-tone screech. And that's what we ended up doing. And the composer's name is Amit Poznansky. It's the first score he wrote for a film, and I'm really very proud of it. Well, that's an interesting observation, but as a father would say, it's wrong. Their level of religious observance is not really part of the film, but one of them covers his head, and the son, and the father doesn't. Now, this is a reflection of this kind of real family. The father comes from a German tradition where you don't cover your head, and he's someone who has no folklore in his life. A skull cap is a symbol. He doesn't believe in symbols. Whereas a son, and it's usually the reverse. Usually the son is the one who wants to feel emancipated. But the son is someone who sees the beauty and spirituality in his culture and religion. And he covers his head because he likes the symbol. So it's just another reflection of the difference between these two characters. And it's real. So let me introduce you to these two actors. The father is played by Shlomo Bar Abba, who is very well known in Israel. He's, well, known as, he's infamous. No, he's, people call him a comedian, but not a comedian in that he's funny. He's unpredictable. And he's had a long career on the stage and some TV, but he's like an Israeli Peter Sellers. He's a personality that people are attracted to him because they don't know what to expect from him, and he's constantly surprising his audience. He hasn't done a film in 20-something years, and I wrote this with him in mind. There's something about, he hardly talks in the film, and there are many scenes that just focus on his face, and I felt that we needed this rare quality in an actor where you can hold a dramatic tension just by not really knowing what to expect from him. And he, at least for an Israeli audience, he brings that question in his presence. His face is so, you really don't know what his next step will be, and I'm very happy with how he carried this film, because Eliezer Shkolnik didn't exist before he walked into his shoes or his slippers or his sneakers. Or the son is played by an actor named Lior Ashkenazi, who you might be familiar with from other Israeli films that have done well internationally. If Israel has a leading man, it's Lior Ashkenazi. He's someone who gives over the impression that things come very easy for him, and that he's comfortable with himself and with his surrounding and with his flaws, with his body. And when I first met Lior, I saw that most of what this character requires, Lior just brings naturally to the screen. It might be able to take place on a certain level in any field. There's something about these two outlooks that are represented by these two characters that is basic in how the Talmud evolved, how the generations of scholars argued with each other and ultimately moved forward because of that gap and tension between one generation and another. And there's also the really beautiful and kinky obsession with esoteric, tiny, tiny details that is part of the Talmud study and part of the personality of people who devote their life to it. And in that sense, I don't think it would have had this kind of complexity in any other field. The answer is absolutely not. The Talmud researchers, or Talmudic research, is almost sacrilegious. It challenges the very basis of what religious people see in sacred text. Nothing is sacred. Everything is scrutinized and put to question for its authenticity. These characters are not faithful religious people. They're fundamentalists in their need for knowledge, and they're extreme in how far they'll go to prove their point. But I don't see them as necessarily religious people.
I'm so sorry that we've run out of time, but we have. Please join me in congratulating him on a terrific film.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for letting us show it here.
Thank you.
Thank you.